So welcome back, students. Today is the lecture 2 of the basic electronics, and today we are going to discuss some network theorems, and also we will start with the uh, ideal constant voltage source and ideal constant current source. And we are right now talking about the DC sources. So let's begin. So what is a DC voltage source? You know all about the DC and AC. DC voltage sources like you use cells, batteries, etc., which are fixed voltage and which get drained after some time, and you need to replace that source. And in AC voltage or current source, what is what you are getting in your home, and for that purpose we need to have a power supply which is based on the uses of diodes and transistor, which we'll discuss later in our lecture series. So today we are going to discuss about the DC voltage source and also current source. So an ideal DC voltage source is like that, having an internal resistance of 0. So its internal resistance is 0, and if we have a load, as you can see in this diagram, a voltage source of voltage Vs is shown with open load ends. Load terminals are open, A and B, and when we can, in the right side, if RL is the load resistor which is connected to the terminals of A and B, then circuit is complete and some current will be flown through the circuit, which is given by current equal to Vs upon RL, V upon R. So this is all about a ideal voltage source, and in this case there is no internal resistance. So an ideal voltage source will be having a 0 internal resistance. But practically all voltage sources have some very small internal resistance, and so for this purpose we will have a diagram like this, as you can see in your screen, that we have voltage source of voltage Vs, and its internal resistance is shown here as Rs. When we connect an load resistance RL, then the circuit will have a voltage source Vs and two resistors Rs and RL in series. So this current will be given by Vs upon Rs plus RL. The total resistance will be Rs plus RL. And okay, similarly here. And next, now similar to the voltage source, we have a DC current source also, which will provide a constant value of current through a load regardless of the value of load. So this ideal current source has a infinite internal resistance. So now we have discussed that an ideal voltage source will be having 0 resistance, 0 internal resistance, whereas on the contrary, a ideal DC current source will have a infinite internal resistance. So sometimes it is very important in electronics to convert one type of source into another type of source, like voltage source to current source and current source to voltage source. So let us see how we can convert one type of source into another. So here first we are discussing, as you can see here in the diagram, to convert a voltage source into a current source. So if we have given a circuit like voltage source is connected with the value of Vs and Rs is its internal resistance. So how we will convert this type of circuit, this type of source, into a current source? First we have to just calculate the amount of current, equivalent current. So this will be V upon R, and IS, if we can write IS, then it will be Vs upon Rs. So we need to just replace this Vs, this voltage source, by a current source having a current equal given by Is. Is is Vs upon Rs. So just replace it, and also we change this resistor Rs from series to parallel. Just do it, and your voltage source is converted into a current source, and everything remains same. And whatever amount of current is flowing in this circuit, in the load, that will be determined by the conditions of A and B. So we are only concerned about the source right now. We are not talking about what is the condition of A and B, which type of resistance is connected in A and B. That will depend later. So here in the below diagram, we have shown here that if Vs is the voltage source, Rs is internal resistance, and RL is the load resistance, then total amount of current will be IL equal to Vs upon Rs plus RL flowing through the load. So when we convert it, then Vs will be replaced by Vs upon Rs, and Rs is connected in parallel and RL is same. So then again IL will be same in both the cases. We have just replaced one voltage source into current source. Now it will be more clear to you by this example, by this numerical problem, where we have to convert this 100 volt voltage source into a current source. So just we have given 100 volt voltage source Vs, and Rs is 47 ohm, which is its internal resistance. Practically it is 0, but means ideally it is 0, but practically it is having a small value. So what we will do, first we will calculate the amount of current which is given by Vs upon Rs. So it will be 100 by 47, which comes as 2.13 ampere. Such type of calculations in this video is not possible, but if you are, whenever you are listening this lecture, then try to do this simple math in a paper. So this Is 2.13 ampere will be our current source, and 47 ohm Rs will be connected in parallel. So this is your answer. Now let us see how we can convert a current source to a voltage source. We can see here the current source Is is given and Rs is its internal resistance in parallel. So just what we have done earlier, we will now calculate the total value of voltage. Voltage will be V equal to IR. So Vs equal to Is into Rs, and this Is Rs will be our voltage source, and Rs will be connected in series. This will be clear to you from this example, where 10 milliampere is the Is, is the current source, given with its internal resistance 1 kilo ohm. Practically it is 1 kilo ohm. It is high, but ideally it should be infinite. It should be very large, so infinite. So here what we will do, we will calculate Vs, which will be Is into Rs. So it will be like 10 volt. So it will come 10 volt. You check it please. To 10 volt Vs will be connected, will be our source, voltage source. So we have replaced a current source into voltage source, from 10 milliampere current source to 10 volt voltage source, and 1 kilo ohm is the Rs. Its value will be same, but it will be connected from parallel to series. This will be your answer. After this, we have as we discussed in the start, I said that we will discuss the network theorems today. So there are some theorems given by different scientists. In electronics, it is means useful to apply some theorems which are called network theorems, and which gives us easy, short and simplified circuits. Whenever we are dealing with a complicated circuits having a number of voltage or current sources and many resistors in different branches, then it will be difficult sometimes to even by using Kirchhoff's law. So there are some theorems. Mainly, first is superposition theorem, then Thevenin theorem, Norton's theorem and maximum power transfer theorem. So we will be discussing these one by one. So let us start first by superposition theorem, and how it is means what is the statement of this theorem, and what are the steps to achieve a simple circuit from a complicated circuit. So its statement is, if there are a number of voltage or current sources acting simultaneously in a network, then each source can be treated as if it acts independently of the others. Or you can also read from this screen that current in any given branch of a multiple source circuit, multiple source means there are many independent sources, can be found by determining the currents in that particular branch produced by each source acting alone, with all other sources replaced by their internal resistances. The total current in the branch is the algebraic sum of the individual currents in that branch. तो आपको क्या करना है, इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस से रिप्लेस करना है उन सोर्सेज को. सो व्हेन वी हैव अ वोल्टेज सोर्स, वी विल डायरेक्टली पुट अ short circuit here because we have no resistance, and when we have a current source, then we will put an open, means both the terminals will be open at that time, because it will show an open will means a infinite resistance. So now these are the steps. Steps 1 is, first you will replace all the sources and just you will deal with one. Okay, if there are means suppose there are two sources, or suppose there are three sources, more than one, so at a time you will take only one. Okay, we will consider only one source at a time, and at that time we will replace other sources by their internal resistance. And so in this way we will calculate the current in various resistors, and their voltage drops can be calculated. So similarly we will repeat these processes, and one by one we will take other sources also. So finally what we'll do, we will have some different currents in the same resistors according to the different sources one by one. So we will directly get the algebraic sum of currents and voltage drops over a resistor, over all the resistors. So this is the actual value of the current and voltage drops. Okay, so algebraic sum is important here. We have to see it, and carefully we will do it. So this type of theorems makes our task easy for the electronic circuits, for complicated circuits. So this is the first theorem, and we will also discuss other theorems later in our next lecture. But in today's lecture, this theorem, superposition theorem, we have discussed its statement and the method and steps how to get it, but it will be clear, you will understand by an example. So we will take an example and then you will get it.